um, back to where we stopped at. Me and your mom met up at a place called Waffle House in Columbia. Um, with all that being said, after that, me and her met. It wasn't a long courtship, and we end up getting together as far as a relationship. Then the wedding, well, not necessarily the wedding, the proposal. Now, the funniest thing that I thought about was when I actually went and proposed to your mom. She used to live in the apartments. I think it was the second floor apartments, and her apartment had a balcony. And I tried to do the romantic thing, macho stuff. And the ring I had was in my pocket. And when we got the ring, we should have saw the red flags from the beginning, because it was a financially hesitant type relationship, because we ended up getting, or I think she ended up buying the ring, or something happened whereas the financials wasn't correct. So that was a red flag. So one thing to remember, if you trying to get into a marriage and you want to have a wedding, make sure you are financially stable, for one. Two, don't let a lot of people influence you, because once it's going bad, one person will blame the other. Three, for me, being married is almost like being on the job training. You know what OJT is? OJT is the same thing as an internship. So make sure there wasn't no type of format, whereas this is how you're supposed to be a husband, this is how the wedding is supposed to go. The individual, every wedding or every marriage is different from the other. So right now, that should have been a red flag from the beginning. But back to the funny story. The funny story was, I went out to the balcony and tried to propose to her. And you know that Tahoe at Granddad's house? That was mine. I had that one out. I was still married to your mom. That was mine. And at that time, my truck had a alarm on it. I had a keychain with the key fob on it and the alarm button. So when I leaned down on my knees to propose to her, I forgot that I had the keys in my pocket. So as I was going down on my knees to propose to her and said, "Will you marry me?" then the alarm went off on my truck. And if I would have paid attention to my truck was telling me to don't do it. Because the truck was saying, burn, 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 burn. So the truck was telling me, don't do it, don't do it. So right then and there, I should have paid attention to my truck. But anyways, everything went as planned. We end up getting married at a hotel's conference room off of, I think it was Fusion Street. That was the actual hotel we ended up getting married to. And we went on a short honeymoon. I think the honeymoon was at Hilton Head Beach. Then we went to, a couple of months later or whatever, we went to Atlanta, to the Underground, all that, something like that. And after that, that's how our marriage went. But, it wasn't all peaches and creams. Not that I didn't want to do it. It was almost, felt like it was kind of forced to a certain extent, because we wanted to listen to the teachings of our pastor at that moment, or whatever, or however they had stuff going on at that church, because sometimes once this individual left this individual, they'll go to this individual and everybody into the same church. It's almost like you put everybody's name that's in the church, you put it in a pool, in a pot, in a big pot. So, all right, well, if things don't work out, you reach your hand in that bowl, bing, and put it out. That's who you gonna be with. So, not saying it was a bad thing, but sometimes being under some certain directions of a particular church, um, it might force you to do things like that. So a lot of times, even though God needs to be in your relationship, God needs to be in your life, a lot of times you need to take your marriage or your relationship out of that particular church so that y'all can deal with it, because when that's the case, you could put it into your hands of that church, then they will try to critique it, they will try to control it, and then your mind will be messed up. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong about going to church. Make sure you take your stuff out of there. Did I love your mom? Yes. Did I was looking forward to divorce? No. It was one particular time she went and took the test because I was still in the National Guard at the time, and I think she took the test to go into the military as a chaplain's assistant. And she didn't went too far. I think it would have worked better if we would have gotten away from everybody, away from my family, and got away from her family, and just go off on our own and learn, just like Jalen and Brittany. Even though they didn't have a lot of things from the beginning, but they stuck together through the thick and thin. Because a lot of times these days, people look at relationships as a microwave because they want things in an instant instead of working towards it. And I don't think that our relationship was strong enough to try to go forward for as a trying to buy a house and trying to do stuff like that. It wasn't because there was too many hands in the pot at the time. And one day things happened. I don't want to go into details. Things happened, and she ended up sending me the paperwork for the divorce, and she wanted a divorce. I ended up signing it, and sending it right back. Now, one thing about that is that I can say at that point, she never can say that I never gave her what she wanted. What she wanted was a divorce, but I gave it to her. A lot of times in relationships, you can't do what everybody else do. You can't keep up with how everybody else do things. You only can do what was itemized and what's under your control. Do I still care for her? Yes, I still care for her because that's still your mom. I am remarried to a wonderful, beautiful person. And also she is married. She has your mom to be married too as well. She's married to a pretty decent, pretty good individual. Another funny thing about that is that I'm glad that she got someone else in her life, because before she got married, and I used to get a phone call, and your mom's name came up on the phone. So my blood pressure went up. Like, God almighty, what she want now? But other than that, and one of the best things that I can say that happened in our relationship, marriage relationship, how you want to call it, she never denied me of seeing you, spending time with you, because a lot of times in marriages and relationships, when couples don't work out, they tend to use their kids against one another.
You have a crutch?
Huh?
As a crutch.
Right. So that how that happens. So right now, I can say that I really do appreciate her for that. I will always have love for her. I'm not gonna say I am in love with her, because that will be disrespectful to my marriage, and that would be disrespectful to her current marriage. And things, I guess at a later time we can discuss on how it came about, or how we got a divorce, or how do I feel about a divorce. and how it came about on how you came to live with me. That's, like I said, that's for another date and time. But other than that, the main point of this video, this episode, is how I met your mother is through a mutual friend, where the mutual friend introduced me to coming or invite me to come to the church. I ended up seeing someone at the time that was before your mother came. Then after that didn't work out, then I saw your mom, and that's how me and your mom connected. And hopefully, regardless of how old you is, or however the situation is, we can always be respectful and always can be friends, and hope their relationship flourishes just as well. I hope ours flourishes just as well. I will want you to always have respect for your mom and always spend time with your mom regardless of what, and don't disrespect him. And I wouldn't want you to disrespect my current wife, which is your stepmom, just like that's your mom and your stepdad. And we all want the best for you, but basically that's how it was on how I met your mom.